We'll go ahead and get started. Settling into a comfortable seated mountain. I'm taking just a moment to arrive before we begin. So maybe either focusing your eyes on a single point or maybe closing your eyes. Closing the mouth. Bringing the awareness to the breath, flowing in and out through the nose. Not trying to force or change anything, just observing. Letting go of everything that's happened already today and everything that is going to happen later. Just rooting firmly in the here and now, in the present moment. And quickly scanning the body from the tips of the toes all the way up through the crown of the head. Just noticing what's present in your body today. Observing any feelings of tightness, discomfort, or sensation. Sending some kindness, some compassion to those parts. Before we begin our physical practice, we'll do a short calming breathing practice. I think we've done this one before. We'll inhale fully through the nose. Then on the exhale, we'll exhale out through the mouth, pursing the lips as if you're breathing out through a straw. So inhaling through the nose. And then exhaling out as if you were breathing into a straw. Not forcing anything, again, just making sure you're inhaling and exhaling fully. This is often a quick way to calm down, reduce anxiety, help clear the mind. Also helps slow down the breath, extend the exhale. Breathing more air into the lungs and then releasing any trapped air. And taking one more inhale and exhale like that. Breathing through the straw. And then returning back to the natural rhythm of your breath. And maybe setting an intention for today's practice, something to focus on, or remaining open to whatever the practice offers you today. And when you're ready, letting the eyes come back open, the sight returns. And we'll take the head right and left with the breath, inhaling in the center, exhaling, looking to the right, inhaling back through center, and turning the head on the exhale, looking to the left. Moving through that a few times, starting to loosen up the head and neck. Always not forcing anything, not overly striving, just meeting yourself where you are. And eventually bringing the head back to center, and then we'll look up on the inhale and down on the exhale. And holding the head, looking up for a few breaths. And on your next exhale, dropping the chin toward the chest and holding there. Feeling the head hanging heavy. And from here, taking any free form movements that feel good with the neck. So maybe rolling the head shoulder to shoulder, maybe rolling the head all the way around, or maybe a figure of 8 type motion. Just anything else that's going to feel good and help gently loosen up the neck this morning, afternoon. And now we'll tilt the head to the right shoulder, stretching along the side of the body, and then maybe cradling the head, extending the left arm out to the side, extending that energetic line all the way out through the tips of the left fingers. Releasing on an inhale, and then switching the sides. So ear drops to the left shoulder, cradling the head, extending the arm. And releasing. Just gently rolling the shoulders backwards a few times. And then forwards. And relaxing the muscles of the face, maybe making some circles with the jaw, loosening up this area of the body where we don't often think about, but where we often carry some tension. Maybe letting the mouth open and the chin hang. And then on an inhale, we'll draw the shoulders toward the ears and contract the facial muscles. And then exhale, sighing out through the mouth, relaxing everything. So doing that again, inhaling, contract, and exhale, releasing. Once more, inhaling to contract. And sighing out to relax. We'll inhale the arms out in front of you, palms facing the ceiling. And we'll bring the fingertips to the shoulders and then release the hands back out in front. So moving back and forth, stretching out the elbows. And then the next time the fingertips come to the shoulders, holding here, then we'll open and close the elbows. Opening and closing, bringing the elbows towards each other. And playing with the range of motion, so maybe extending the elbows back behind the body if that's comfortable. Drawing the elbows closer together. And then the next time the elbows come out, we'll release the palms out to the side. Palms are facing forward. And then flip the palms forwards and backwards. And then floating the hands back down by the sides. Clasping the hands together and rolling out the wrists. Releasing the hands and then making fists and then spreading the fingers wide. And then maybe giving the hands just a little shake. And then eventually releasing them down by the side. We'll do a little arm flow. Again, we've done this one before. So the palms facing forwards, we'll inhale, sweeping the arms up halfway. Exhale, flipping the palms, hands come down. And then now out to the side. So palms flip out, up halfway to the sides, palms down, hands draw back to the body. So moving back and forth, first coming out front and then out to the sides. And then if it's comfortable, maybe lifting the arms a little bit higher, as high as you want, and floating back down. And same thing to the sides. If your arms and shoulders are happy with it, hands can lift higher. And flowing through that a few times, using your own inhales and exhales to guide the movement. And we'll do it once more, out to the front and out to the sides. And then letting the arms float back down by the body. We'll send the arms back out to a T, and then give yourself a bear hug. Doesn't matter which arm is on top. And staying here in the bear hug, or maybe moving into those eagle arms, so winding the forearms around, working the palms towards each other. And whichever position you're in, directing the breath into the upper back. As you inhale, feeling the shoulders expand. Maybe focusing the gaze on a single point out in front of you, building some focus and concentration. And on your next inhale, extend the arms back out wide. And then on the exhale, switching which arm is on top. And once again, maybe staying here in the bear hug position or working your way towards those full arms. So whichever one feels better for you, it might feel different on one side or the other. Again, picturing your inhale, expanding the shoulder blades, filling the upper back. And we'll inhale, extending the arms out, and then exhale, floating them back down. And coming now into a seated twist, so bringing the left hand to the right knee, and the right hand can come either on the back of the chair or maybe on the hip, and just gently twisting to the right, being careful of the spine of the back. And we'll take one more inhale in the twist. And exhale, coming back to the center. And here in the center, clasping the hands behind the back, scooting forward in the chair if you need to, and just opening up the chest. So I just have my hands clasped together, gently arching the back, opening the chest, maybe slightly lifting the chin and lifting the gaze. And then releasing, and we'll twist to the other side. So this time, right hand comes towards the left side, and the left hand can come to the hip or chair. And twisting to the left. And your gaze can be focused wherever feels most comfortable for you here. And we'll take one more inhale. And then exhaling, untwisting, coming back to the center. This time we'll clasp the hands and press the palms out in front. So yeah, just like that, and rounding the shoulders a little bit. And then maybe if it's comfortable, lifting the hands above the head. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, letting the hands go and then maybe rolling the hands as the arms float down. And hands come back to rest on the thighs, and we'll come into our cat and cow. So taking an inhale here. And then as we exhale, we'll slide the hands forward toward the knees and round the spine toward the back of the chair. Inhale, hands slide back toward the body. Spine arches gently, gaze lifts. And then flowing back and forth on your own breath. option here to come into a dancing cat on the exhale. So inhaling, arching the spine, and then as you exhale, drawing one knee in towards the chest as the spine rounds. Inhaling back up. And then as you exhale, maybe the other leg lifts. Just an option, or you can continue with cat and cow. We'll do just a couple more rounds. Do once more each side if you're lifting the leg. And then eventually returning back to upright seated position. And we'll take just a few rounds of hip circles. So just rocking the hips from side to side in the chair, rotating the torso. And then back in the other direction. And then coming back to our seated mountain. We'll heel toe the right foot out to the side, toes pointing in a diagonal. And we'll lift up onto the ball of the foot and then let that knee drop in and out. So this is kind of like our butterfly, only just with one leg. And once more like that, in and back up. And we'll walk that foot back in about hip distance apart. And bringing the hands to the hips or the chair, bicycle out that leg. So just bending and straightening. And maybe back in the other direction if that feels okay. So pedaling your bike backwards. And extending that leg, letting the heel come down onto the floor. Toes are lifted. We'll inhale to lift and lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, folding over that extended leg. So maybe you come a quarter of the way or halfway, or maybe walking the hands a little farther down that extended leg. And there can be a bend in the extended leg too, if that feels a little bit better. We'll walk back up. And then just taking a few movements of the ankle and foot. So maybe rolling out the ankle in one direction. Back in the other direction. And maybe just pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And then bringing both feet back to seated mountain. And we'll switch sides. So we'll walk the other foot out. Toes are pointed diagonally. Coming up onto the ball of the foot and then letting the knee drop in, come back up. A few times like that, loosening up our hips. Once more in, back up. Heel comes down and foot walks back in. And now we'll bicycle out the other leg. So bending and straightening, using the core and the spine to help keep the body upright. And then maybe back in the other direction. And then eventually releasing the heel down to the floor. Toes are lifted, so the foot is flexed. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale, folding forward over the extended leg. Again, letting the knee be soft and folding as far as is as comfortable. And we'll walk back up an upright spine, and then pointing and flexing the foot a few times. And rolling out the ankle. And then back in the other direction. And then releasing both feet back onto the floor. And maybe windshield wipering the legs a few times, so just shifting the knees from side to side. And then coming back to our seated mountain, we'll walk the feet just a little bit wider than the hips or a little bit wider than the chair. And we'll come down into a forward fold. So once again, inhaling to lift and lengthen. And exhaling, coming down onto the forearms, bringing the tips of the fingers together. Breathing into the lower back. Maybe noticing a stretch in the low back. And seeing if we can create space as we inhale, and then relax as we exhale. And if it feels comfortable, you can fold all the way forward, or you can stay here in the half fold. If you fold all the way, letting the arms hang, letting the neck round and the head hang heavy. Supported by the chair and by the floor beneath you. And then when you're ready, walking back up to seated. And maybe once again, clasping the hands behind and just gently opening the chest. Little counter stretch to that forward fold. And then release. We're going to come into our Warrior One. So we'll turn our bodies to the right, so facing the right side in the chair. And you can stay just seated to the side, or maybe the front leg extends back behind you. And so the back leg, the toes are slightly turned out, and we're squaring the hips towards the front leg. And I'm actually going to shift my chair so that you can see me better, because we're going to add on a little bit to it. And I want you to be able to see my arms. So we're here in our Warrior One, and we've done this arm flow before. We'll inhale, lifting the outside arm up by the ear, and then exhale, folding forward, sweeping the arm back. And then inhaling to rise up, exhale, folding and letting the arm sweep back behind. Using the other hand to grab onto the chair for a little stability. And maybe following the hand with the gaze. Shifting the gaze up as the arm rises. And down as you bend forward. We'll do that once more, then we'll hold in our Warrior One for a few breaths. So keeping that arm up by the ear, relaxing the shoulder, relaxing the muscles of the face. Gazing forward. And we'll take one more inhale here. And then exhaling, releasing the arm, drawing that back leg in. And from here, we'll come into a gate pose. So sending that front leg out to the side. And we'll inhale, arm rises, and exhale, bending to the side towards the chair. And inhaling back up. Bending on the exhale and rising on the inhale. And then maybe if it feels okay, holding that side bend. Feeling, again, that energetic line extending from the tips of the fingers to the tips of the toes. Opening up the side body, arms, shoulders. On an inhale, rising back up to center, releasing the arm and releasing the leg. And we'll come back through center. And you once again windshield wipering the feet a few times. And then we'll do that same sequence on the opposite side. So this time we'll shift our bodies to the left. And maybe extending that right leg out behind. We'll inhale, the outside arm comes up. And then on the exhale, folding forward towards the front knee, sweeping the arm back behind. And moving through on your own inhales and exhales. Maybe sending the gaze along with the hands, so lifting as you rise, looking down as you fold forward. And then next time we rise, holding in Warrior One, relaxing the shoulder, relaxing the muscles of the face, picking a spot out in front of you to focus on, feeling again the support of the chair and the floor beneath your hips and feet. We'll take another inhale. And then on the exhale, releasing the arm, releasing the leg, drawing the leg back in. And then we'll send that right leg out to the side for our gate pose. Inhaling up with the right arm, and then exhale, bending to the side towards the chair. Inhaling to rise, and flowing back and forth. And then continuing with the movement or holding the side bend. So stretching out the side of your body. Noticing if you're dropping into the low spine, and if that's happening, maybe engaging the core a little bit, helping to support the back. And then on an inhale, rising back up. And exhale, releasing the hand, releasing the leg, and then returning back to center. And let's do a couple of cat and cows to reset, loosen things back up again. So deeply inhaling and exhaling, rounding the spine. Hands slide forward. Inhaling, arching the back, opening the chest. And just flowing through that a few rounds on your own. Maybe holding for a couple breaths with the spine arched, the chest lifted. So one more inhale here. And then exhale, rounding the spine, maybe holding for a couple of breaths there. And then eventually coming back to seated mountain, resetting, readjusting. So do another little side stretch. So letting the hands drop down by the sides. And we're going to be engaging our side abdominals. So we'll inhale in the center and then exhale, leaning to the right, letting the right hand reach towards the floor. Inhale back up and then exhale other side. So moving back and forth, just reaching that hand towards the floor, but keeping the spine upright. And using your core strength to help draw the body back up. And we'll do that once more each side. And then eventually returning back to seated mountain. So we'll come into our goddess. So walking the feet wide again, as wide as you want. Toes are turned out to the corners of your mat, or about 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, if you don't have a mat like I do. And we'll inhale, bringing the arms up to our goalpost or goddess arms. And taking another inhale here. And as you exhale, drawing the hands towards each other, inhaling them back open, opening through the chest, and then flowing through your inhales and exhales. And if it feels good to have a little bit more arch in the spine when the arms open, feel free to take a little bit of a back bend there. And so we'll do that once more. Arms come in and back out. Then we'll release into our extended side angle position. So bringing the right forearm to the right thigh, and then you can lean into that right forearm. The left hand can stay down by the side or maybe extending up toward the sky. And you can keep the right forearm on the right thigh or maybe extend down towards the floor. So whichever works best for you today, finding any or a combination of those options. And experimenting too with the gaze. If your arm is lifted, maybe letting your eyes focus on that top hand, looking up toward the sky. And just breathing into the openness in the chest and the front of your body. And on your next inhale, rising up through center. And once again, we'll clasp the hands, pressing the palms out in front, rounding the shoulders. Maybe lifting the hands up above the head. And letting go of the hands and letting the hands circle as they come down. And so now switching sides, so coming into our extended side angle on the left forearm can come down onto the left thigh. And you can stay right here, just having that side stretch, feeling the stretch in the side of the body. Or maybe the right arm extends. Maybe the left arm extends down towards the floor, forcing the hips to be open a little bit more. And maybe the gaze comes up toward the top hand. And just taking a moment to find your position. And breathing wherever you are. And on your next inhale, rising back up to center. Walking the legs back together. And taking a few shoulder rolls, rolling the shoulders backwards. And then forwards. And then releasing. So readjusting the hips, finding the seated mountain position again, feet about hip distance apart. Do a little bit more ab and core engagement. So we'll clasp the hands behind the head, the elbows out to the sides, if that's a comfortable position for you. And as we inhale, we'll lift the right knee and then bring the left elbow towards the right knee. And then exhale, release. And we'll switch sides. So it doesn't have to come too far, just moving in the general direction of each other. So right knee comes toward left elbow and vice versa. Using the strength of your core, your abdominals. And if lifting the legs isn't comfortable, you can simply rotate the torso, rotate the elbow. So we'll take one more round on each side. And then returning back to center and releasing the hands back down by the sides, be giving the hands and arms a nice little shake. So we'll come now into our seated pigeon. So options for that, extending the right leg out on the floor, opening the hip and rolling out onto the outer edge of the right foot. So the right knee is pointing out towards the side. Option 1. Option 2, picking up the right foot, crossing it over the left knee. So either way. And once you've arrived, maybe taking a minute to adjust the hips so that they're comfortable. And then bringing the hands either to the hips or the chair. Inhaling to lift, and then exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forward. Stopping when you feel just a little hint of a stretch. And breathing fully. Once again, maybe seeing if you can create some space with the inhale. And then relax on the exhale. And then when you're ready, rising back to center. And whichever seated pigeon you're in, we'll bring the left hand towards the right side. So maybe it comes on the knee, maybe the thigh, or wherever. Right hand comes to the hip or the chair, and then we'll take a seated twist from here in our pigeon position. So if the leg is extended, just reaching the hand towards that right thigh. One more inhale in the twist. And then exhale to release. And releasing from the seated pigeon. So putting the foot back down, bringing the foot back to the floor, and switching sides. So extending the left leg, rolling out onto the outer edge of the foot, opening the hip that way, or picking up the left foot, placing it on the right thigh. Hands come to hips or the chair. Inhaling, lengthening, and then exhaling, hinging forward. The back is flat or straight. We're stopping when we start to feel a little bit of a stretch. And then breathing there. And when you're ready, rising back up, upright spine. And we'll come into the twist on this side. So bringing the right hand to the left side, somewhere on the left leg. And then twisting to the left. And one more inhale. And then exhale, releasing twist. And then releasing the left leg. Coming back to seated mountain. Once again, just like we did at the beginning, we'll inhale, drawing the shoulders up and contracting the facial muscles. And then exhaling out to the mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale to contract. And exhale to relax. And last time, inhaling, shoulders up. Letting everything relax. And so we've come to the end of our physical practice. I have a short guided meditation focused on dealing with emotions, addressing emotions. So if that's something that sounds like something that you need, feel free to stay. If not, feel free to jump off. Or if you'd like to just sit and, if the words don't resonate with you, just sit quietly with your breath. That's also fine. So I'd invite you to find a comfortable position where you can rest and relax for a few moments. As we did at the beginning, maybe letting the eyes soften or close, letting your body become heavy in the chair beneath you, releasing any tension you may be holding anywhere in your body. And then tuning into the breath, in and out through your nose. Observing the breath as it is. Feeling your belly expanding slightly with each inhale, contracting slightly with each exhale. If you'd like, maybe taking a few rounds of that straw breathing that we practiced at the beginning, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth with pursed lips like you're breathing out through a straw. And returning to your natural breathing if you haven't already. And again, like we did at the beginning of practice, doing a quick scan of your body from the tips of your toes all the way up through the crown of your head. Maybe observing any changes that might have taken place in the last hour. And if you're still noticing some areas of tension, sensation, discomfort, seeing if you can direct the breath there, direct some kindness, some compassion there. And eventually beginning to bring your awareness to your heart. Our energetic center. It's the place in our body where we experience feelings like anxiety, grief, hurt. As well as joy, love, compassion. Take a moment to observe, without any judgment, what your heart is feeling today, what emotions or feelings are present for you. And keeping your awareness in your heart space, beginning to imagine a tiny ball of light. Maybe picturing this ball of light as a favorite color. Seeing this soft light resting gently in your heart, radiating out feelings of compassion and acceptance for whatever is present for you. And as you breathe here, observing this light, giving yourself permission to feel whatever you're feeling, letting it move through you with the breath. With this light in your heart, allowing yourself to simply experience these feelings without trying to change them. Resisting the impulse to label them as good or bad, positive or negative. Just letting yourself feel. Honoring your feelings as they move through you, along with that colored light of compassion, of acceptance. As this energy flows, letting yourself feel safe here in the present moment. These feelings of loving compassion flowing from your heart. Now beginning to visualize a space of a bright white light, a space of hope, of optimism, a space where you've honored your emotions and your feelings, and now giving yourself the chance to be open to new possibilities. Feel the love and the hope in this space. Safe in the knowledge that you've allowed yourself to truly feel and honor your feelings. Enabling yourself to move through them, to be open to entering into something new. Keeping the focus on your heart, the center of your chest. Beginning to feel that spark of newness, hopefulness in this energetic center. If it feels right to you, maybe placing both of your palms on your heart, one on top of the other. Physically giving yourself that compassion. Sending love to yourself for whatever emotions have come up, whatever feelings you might be feeling. And knowing that on the other side, there's always more. There's always hope. And by honoring what you're experiencing in this moment. You've opened yourself up. Opened yourself up to what's ahead. When you're ready, beginning to broaden your awareness out from your heart through the rest of your body. Maybe taking some gentle movements, wiggling the fingers and toes. Maybe taking a stretch. And then maybe eventually returning to that position with both hands over your heart, one hand on top of the other. And as you've sent these feelings of love, hope, optimism, compassion to yourself, you taking a moment to send them out to everyone else who's practicing either live on Zoom or later on YouTube, maybe even out into the rest of the universe, sending love, compassion to all beings. Namaste.